The purpose of this video is to teach you guys about the basic formatting of APA, just regarding manipulating your document so that it looks like it's supposed to in APA format. Now, for your extended bibliography, you can have a cover page. That's not a requirement. But really, you're just writing a long list of references. So everything you see in this video is tailored more toward what you're going to have to do for your final paper in APA. And if you want to get get started practicing with a cover page, you can. Your extended bibliography does not have to have an abstract. There's no reason for it to. And obviously it won't have the body of an essay because you aren't writing any paragraphs or anything like that. So this video might be or feel a little preemptive, but it's going to help you just kind of really understand the concept of APA formatting, which is our focus for this week. What you're going to see here, I'm going to do two big things. So first I'm going to show you how to use Microsoft Word to manipulate all of the formatting that you'll need to do in APA. And then I'm also going to talk about an abstract and what an abstract is and the purposes, and then some of the conventions of successful abstract writing in APA format. So we'll start with formatting and then we'll talk about the abstract. There are going to be many videos this week that I want you to watch, but I'm taking them all in small chunks so as to not overwhelm you, and I also don't think that my program will record all of it at once, or that I'm even capable of doing that. So here we go. The very first thing that I do whenever I'm formatting in APA format is do the headers. I think that it's great to start there because then you know that they're done correctly and you won't have to worry about them for the rest of your document. I strongly encourage that you follow this sequence. Now, if you are using Microsoft Word Online, there is something else you have to do to make this happen, and I do not know what it is. So what I would encourage you to do is to go to YouTube and to search how to format APA headers in Microsoft Word Online. If you are using Pages, there's something different that you have to do. If you're using Google Drive, then there's also something different that you have to do there. And so, at least for this part of the video, you should look up on YouTube how to do it in a different way. And if you're having trouble finding how to use the software you have access to and make APA format happen, please let me know because I know it's possible. I know that you can do it, and I can help you find the resources that you need. But this is just about using Microsoft Word if you have the actual standalone program, not the online version. Okay, so I'm going to double click into my header, and I am going to make sure that before I do anything else, that under the Design tab, which will only show up when you're in the header, you have the box checked that says Different First Page, because the APA header on the first page does not look like the APA header on the second page. It's similar, but it's not identical. And then I'm going to type in the phrase running head. The R is capital, the H is lowercase. I'm going to follow that up with a colon and a space. And then if I'm writing my extended bibliography, I will turn on the all caps or the caps lock. And I might write something like extended bib, or if I'm writing my final paper, then I might write something like the title or a shortened version of the title for my final paper. Okay, but that part is going to be in all capital letters. Then I'm turning off my cap lock. I'm going to push tab once, and it's going to take me to the middle of my page. If my title is really long, I might only have to push tab once to get to the right hand side. However, I have to push it again. Now I'm at the right hand side, so you can see my cursor is flashing over here. This is where I want to insert the page number. So I'm still in the Design tab. I have access to that page number. I'm going to insert it. I'm not going to insert it at top of page, because if I do that, then my running head and title that I just typed in is going to go away. So I'm going to instead insert it at current position. I'm just going to pick the first option. Okay, so its current position is wherever my cursor is. My cursor was in the right location, so now my page number popped up. I'm going to highlight all of my header because APA format asks that we do use Times New Roman size 12. So I'm going to turn all of it into Times New Roman size 12. And now my first page header is good to go. So what I want to do is go ahead and format that second page header. In order to get to the second page, I'm going to insert a page break. And now I should see that on page 2, I don't have a header. The reason for that is because I had that box checked that says different first page. So now I'm going to do it all over again. The only difference between the first page header and the second page header is this phrase running head. On your second page header, running head is not there. You just begin with your title in all capital letters. So again, I'm going to type title, and that's in all caps. Push tab again to get to where I need my page number to be. Insert that page number not at top of page, but at current position. There I can see that it says 2. If you just type 2 here, then you will get 2 on every other page. So that will be a problem for you later when you write your paper. And then I'm going to highlight all of it again and change it to Times New Roman size 12. Here we go. In APA format, you will have to change your font 3 times. You have to change it on page 1 header, change it on the page 2 header, and change it in the body of your document. But now that I've done this, I can click out and I can see that any other time I insert a page break, I've got my title and page 3, page break, my title, and page 4, and etc. But still on the first page, it's got that signifier saying this is the running head. This is what you're going to see on every single one of the headers on every page of this document. Okay, so now I'm in the body of my document, and again I need to change all of the font to Times New Roman size 12, so I'm ready to go. You want to make sure that you center this is your cover page. So page 1 of your APA formatted document is your cover page. You want to center the information, and you don't want it to be right at the top of the page. You kind of want it to be 1/3 of the way down. So I am going to, well, I'm going to backspace because I have not double spaced yet. So let me go ahead and do that. And I'm going to enter down a couple of times visually, maybe right here, maybe one more time. This is a good location to begin your cover page information. I'm going to go right here. So what you're going to type first is your title. Now, this part of your title is not in all caps. It's just standard capitalization. If you decide to have a subtitle, then that will come on a line below the title. If you don't have a subtitle, your name will go right below your title. And then below your name is your university or college. So for us, we would write Mitchell Community College. That's all you need. That's your cover page. Sometimes if you download a Microsoft Word template in APA format, I know those exist, fine to use. Just make sure that it looks the way I want it to. Sometimes they will say, put in an author's note on the cover page, and I don't need you to have an author's note. I'm not interested in you adding in anything like that. There's really no reason for it. And so just skip that part. Okay, so then on page 2, this is where you are going to have your abstract. You will center the word abstract at the top of page 2. You won't change this title. It will always be page 2 abstract. Again, this is not necessary for your extended bibliography. Then on a new line, let me make sure all of this is double spaced. Alright, on a new line, you will go back to the left-hand side and you will begin typing your abstract. Your abstract is not indented, so it's unlike a paragraph in your essay or in your paper where you would indent the first line. The abstract is a summary of your paper. You don't indent the first line. You just type it, and it's all the lines are flush to the left. So don't indent your first line. And I'm just going to copy this and repeat it a bunch of times so that you can see visually what it should look like. Okay, so let's say you have your abstract here, and I'm going to go over the details in it, later on in this video of what the abstract purpose is, some of the conventions of writing an abstract. But below, when you're finished, below on a new line, you will indent one, and in italics, you will write the word keywords, followed by a colon. And then you will list a number of keywords, which I will explain in a minute, and they're basically search terms that if someone wanted to find your paper, what would they have to search, and we'll talk about that. So you'll just separate each keyword with a comma, and sometimes they can be key phrases, that's fine as well. You can have as many keywords as is necessary. Obviously, if it looks like you have thousands of keywords for word padding, then I will erase a whole bunch of your keywords and see how many words you have left. I've never had an issue with that in the past, however. Okay, so this page is your abstract page, and this is what it should look like. Then on page 3 is where you will start writing your actual paper. Some people will write their abstract and they'll feel like their abstract has functioned as an introduction, but just a reminder, your abstract is not an introduction to your paper. So your paper will start fresh on page 3. You will center the title of your paper, and if you have a subtitle, you will add that below the title. So this might feel very redundant, having the running header title here in all caps, and then also having your title and subtitle again here, but this is just a convention of APA format, and it looks absolutely normal to me when I'm evaluating your work. You go to a new line, and you will just indent your first line of every paragraph, and type as you normally would type up your paragraph in your essay. So introduction, body paragraphs, conclusion, etc., etc. This part looks just like it did in MLA format. The only difference in the body of your essay is the index citations, which we will worry about in a later week since it's not relevant to your extended bibliography. Okay, so this is going to be the body of your paper. This might take up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pages, whatever. But on the very last page of your document, so I'm going down here to page 4, on the last page of your document, this is your works cited page, but APA format does not call it works cited. They call it references. So you will title your page here references, just as you would in your extended bibliography. And this is where you will begin typing your APA formatted references, which I'm going to talk about in a video, another video this week. You definitely want to watch it. As far as the purposes of this video, I am just going to remind you of a couple of things. So your references are organized in alphabetical order, just like they were in APA format. Your references use the hanging indent function, and they should be written in APA format. So you're going to see a different style. Remember that your extended bibliography is mostly counts for how you do your formatting. 80% of that grade is based on formatting in APA format. So if all of your references are, if you're still in MLA and your brain is there and all of your references are in MLA format, you're going to lose out on 80% of your grade. So it's really important that you shift your focus and you shift your thinking. Okay. This is the basic format of APA. Your document should look like this. The hardest thing for my students is this running head, but If you use Microsoft Word, follow it just like this tutorial. And if you use a different program, find something on YouTube to help you. But if you need help from me, please let me know. I can help you. All right, now I'm going to talk to you about the abstract. So I've got some notes here, and I'll put them in the FYI section for this week as well. Going back to the notes we just looked at, the abstract is the second page of your paper's document. And the purpose of an abstract is to summarize your paper. You're used to seeing this. When you look at a scholarly article on ProQuest, you are first taken to an abstract. It's that paragraph that you can read in order to decide if it's worthwhile to download, save, print, whatever, the full scholarly article, to see if that content really is what you're looking for. So you can read a summary of it to preface your exploration into that subject matter. And that is exactly the point of an abstract for your own paper. It gives your reader a summary to see if they should spend the time reading your paper. Is this something they're looking for? Will it help them inform whatever argument they're trying to make? So abstracts are very, very helpful. The formatting requirements of an abstract include all of the following. It's the second page. The title is abstract. It's not bolded. It's not underlined. It's in no different font other than just how it normally will be. None of the lines on the abstract are indented. Keep that same formatting. It should be double spaced. Times New Roman, 12-point font. You'll have a keywords line. So when you're typing out those keywords, you just want to think about if somebody was trying to find your paper and ProQuest or Google or whatever was matching the content and the main ideas of your paper to those keywords, what words should someone search for in order to find it? So, all of you, one of your keywords could be social media. Your keywords could be whatever case study you've selected. There's no required number of keywords. 3 is perfectly fine. 10 is also fine. Some people have asked me before, what's the most number of keywords that I can have? I think more than 10, I don't know, might be kind of pushing it, but I'm really not sure. If it looks like, again, if it looks like you have too many keywords, then you have too many keywords. Talking about writing that specific abstract, when you are summarizing your paper, first of all, when can you write a summary? You can only write a summary once the content has already been written. So don't write your abstract before you write your paper. You stand to accidentally summarize something that you don't end up putting in your paper. You also stand to use improper verbs. So your abstract should be written in present tense in the third person, using the paper as the noun. What I mean is, you should say, this paper argues, this paper discusses, this paper explains. You shouldn't say, I argue, or the author argues, or refer to yourself in the third person like Lisa's paper argues. Don't do that. This paper explores, elaborates on, etc. And then also verb tense matters. So present tense verbs. You don't want to, and again, this is something that might happen if you write your abstract before you write your paper. You might accidentally say, this paper will argue. I don't want those types of verbs. I want present tense. Because it's already doing it. It's not happening in the future. It has happened and is happening currently. Don't use past tense verbs at the same time. So don't say this paper argued, and don't use that ing verb, this paper is arguing. Just this paper argues, discusses, etc. And I have a list here in the notes that you might consider. Really what you want to do is say, well, what am I doing in this part of my paper? As you are summarizing, summarize in your abstract in chronological order. So whatever you do first in your paper should come first in your abstract. Second. Match that chronology up with your abstract. I have a note here that you'll see in the abstract notes. The rule about present tense verbs only applies to the subject and verb of the sentence where you are writing this paper argues. But if you're arguing about something that happened in the past, you can still have past tense verbs. They just aren't about the paper. For example, this sentence. This paper argues that the royal wedding cultivated an obsession for love. So this paper is arguing. So this paper argues, but this paper didn't cultivate, so it's okay for me to have that as my past tense verb, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I think that I've covered everything else in these notes. Here is an example abstract that you can read, and you'll just, again, notice, I'm going to highlight here his present tense verbs. This paper discusses. He also goes through this and uses different verbs. This paper addresses. The first issue it discusses. So again, he's not only using these present tense verbs, but he's also showing me that chronology. First, the paper talks about this. Second, the paper talks about this. Third, it's very, very simplistic, very basic. Is it the most beautiful abstract that could have ever been written? Certainly not, but it absolutely functions effectively for someone who's getting started with APA format and writing an abstract. So this is an example of what I'm looking for, and then here are his keywords, which I think are perfectly fine. They're great keywords. There's a great amount of them. It works very well. So I think that covers everything that you guys need to know about abstracts. If you have questions after watching this video about the basics of MLA formatting, about anything on the abstract, please send me an email. If you don't have questions, go ahead and jump into the next video for this week.